Today we're talking fried rice, and I'm going to show you how to make the best vegan takeout style fried rice. Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. I am very excited about today's recipe because I feel like if you've grown up in America or the United States at least, you've probably eaten fried rice at some point in your life. It is a very classic takeout recipe, or if you go into pretty much any Chinese American restaurant, it's going to be on the menu. So I feel like we all have a good basic concept of fried rice, and we all have probably tried to make it at home at some point. The issue is, while fried rice sounds easy in theory, it can never be quite as good as takeout unless you know the hacks that restaurateurs or chefs use to make it better. So today I'm going to show you how to make a vegan fried rice that is fluffy, not mushy, perfect ratio of vegetables, and we're even going to make a vegan twist on the egg that is in this version of fried rice. So a brief history of fried rice. Fried rice is commonly considered a Chinese dish, and it dates all the way back to the Sui dynasty. However, that being said, I have also seen it in a wide variety of other Asian cultures, and in general, it's just a common way that many Asian people heat up leftover rice. So essentially, you don't need a bunch of ingredients to make fried rice. Most commonly, it would just be rice that is heated up with oil in a pan. So just plain rice, no seasonings. That being said, most of us, when we think of fried rice, we think of rice that has veggies, maybe egg, scallions, or other seasonings added in. And there's a ton of different ways to make fried rice too. So today I am going with the classic Chinese takeout fried rice that you would see if you ordered in a menu here in the United States. This is also, I think, very comparable to the fried rice you would see at a hibachi grill, which is technically Japanese, and there are differences between Japanese and Chinese fried rice, but I'm not gonna get into that in this video, but this is absolutely delicious. I'm very excited to show you how to make it. So if you are new to my channel, before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed if you want to see more vegan recipe content. I post 1 to 2 new videos every week, and this whole recipe is going to be on my blog post as well, so the link will be below if you want exact measurements or the weight of things in grams, and you want additional tips and tricks on how to make the best ever fried rice. So for now, let's get into the video.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share some of my hacks, tips, and tricks with you along the way. So first, we're going to make our vegan egg. We're only going to need 3 ingredients. This is technically optional, but egg is a very common ingredient in fried rice. So I wanted to put my own vegan twist on it, though again, you could just leave it out. So we're going to start by heating a teaspoon of high heat oil in a pan. And then here I have a block of firm tofu that I press, and I'm just crumbling it with my hands into the pan once the oil has become warm. I recommend using firm tofu because it's a little softer and it mimics the egg texture more than extra firm tofu. And then we're just going to add in some turmeric. You really only need a very small amount. And we're going to mix our turmeric into the tofu as we saute the egg in the pan for about 3 to 5 minutes. As you can see, the orange kind of disappears and it becomes a lot more neon in color. And I'm also just taking my spatula and breaking up the larger pieces of tofu so they look more like smaller pieces of scrambled egg. Now at this point, we're going to add in a secret, not so secret ingredient that will add an eggy flavor. It's called kala namak, or black salt. This technically isn't black. It's used in Indian cooking commonly, and it has more of a sulfuric taste. So it really makes our eggs or tofu egg taste more eggy. The thing about black salt is that it's very sensitive to heat. So you want to turn the heat off and then stir it in until the salt has nicely dissolved, and then just take the tofu off the heat and set it to the side. So now we're gonna move on to making our fried rice. The first thing I recommend is that you want to use day-old rice, and you want it to be cold. So this is day-old white rice that I have put in the fridge overnight. You want to break your rice up before you put it into the pan, because when you use a spatula to try to break it up, it just mushes it down more and it won't fully break it up. So just use a toothpick or your hands, as you can see, until you have most of the rice in fine grains. And then I actually stuck this back into the fridge till right before I added it to my pan, so that way it stayed as cold as possible, which is also a nice hack. Okay, so now moving on to the bulk of the fried rice, we're going to heat 1.5 tablespoons of high heat oil in a pan. I'm using peanut oil, but I have a few other substitutions in the notes on the blog. So the pan's gonna be over medium-high heat, and then we're going to add in some diced white onion, some white portions of green onion, and garlic. And we're gonna saute this for about 3 minutes until the onion becomes translucent. Then at this point, we're going to add in some finely diced carrot, some frozen peas. You can thaw them, but they'll also just thaw with the heat of the pan. And then add in some salt and pepper to taste. And we're gonna saute this for another 3 to 5 minutes. So you want your veggies to be fully cooked before you add your rice. Now at this point, take your cold rice out of the fridge and turn the heat on the pan up to high, all the way maxed out, and then you're gonna add your rice in. So as you can see, because I broke the rice up, it's pretty evenly distributed and there aren't any large clumps. So we have it in the pan on high heat. That is the key to getting the best flavor out of your rice. You want it to go from cold to hot and cook it at the highest heat possible. So we're gonna saute our rice for probably between 3 and 5 minutes here, but you don't wanna mix it all the time. So try to let the rice sit for about 35 to 45 seconds in the pan before you mix it. This is going to help it get crispier on the bottom when it's sauteing in that oil. So then when we have our finished rice product, the grains are going to be firmer and more individual. So the rice should turn slightly more golden in appearance. It's not going to be anything overly dramatic, but this is the texture and color that you're looking for. Then you're going to form a well in the center of your pan, pour the tamari in, and quickly stir it in. I like to pour the tamari onto the empty pan versus directly over the rice, because when you pour it over the rice, it can kind of discolor it unevenly. So when you quickly mix the rice in, it gets a more even color. So we're gonna saute that for about another minute or so. And then at this point, the rice will be pretty hot. So you can just turn the heat off, and we're going to add in our tofu egg, and the residual heat from the rice will heat up that egg because it's been sitting on the counter or on the side for a little bit. And then at this point, we're also going to stir in our toasted sesame oil and the green portions of our scallions or green onions, and then your product will be nice and complete. So sesame oil and kale namak both degrade flavor-wise with heat, so that's why we want to add them in right at the end. But as you can see, this rice is nice and fluffy. We got a nice golden color, all the grains are separate, so now you can just dig in and enjoy. Typically, fried rice can be served as a main dish on its own. There is some tofu in here, so you get some nice plant-based protein. You can obviously top it with more salt and pepper to taste, maybe a few more green onions or toasted sesame seeds if you want. Here I'm just pairing it with some fried tofu because I think it makes a nice complete meal, but I have a whole list of flavor variations on the blog.
So that, friends, is how you make this Chinese takeout inspired fried rice. Honestly, when I first taste tested this, I was like, this tastes exactly like a restaurant. And I feel like the main difference between ordering from a restaurant and ordering from home is the consistency of the rice. So a lot of times when you make it at home, it's kind of mushy and the rice sticks together. But with this, you really get those individual grains, and each grain itself is seasoned and coated, and it's still well seasoned enough with the vegetables and the rice. And I really personally love the chunks of tofu that like imitate the egg texture and flavor. So all in all, it's a well-rounded dish. I'm holding this bowl here and I can just smell the onions and the garlic in it. It is so delicious. You can eat this as a main if you want, or you can also serve it as a side, maybe with some fried tofu. I have a ton of other Chinese takeout inspired recipes. I have 2 videos that I'll put right here on the screen. I have 2-in-1 and then a vegan beef and broccoli that I just posted, and I have a ton of other recipes on my blog too. So you could serve this with any of those, or just make a stir fry on the side. Really do anything, but if you like fried rice, I guarantee you're going to love this. And it's also pretty customizable. You can add in other veggies or use brown rice instead of white rice, though white rice is the most traditional. But anyways, I hope you guys try this out. If you do, leave a comment down below, or you can also follow me on Instagram and tag me in the photo there. I often share your remakes and my recipes on my stories there, and it's really fun to interact with you guys on that platform as well. So that is it for me. Go make some fried rice. It's delicious, it's relatively easy once you get the hacks down, and you'll probably save money making it at home versus ordering takeout. I don't know. You should also support restaurants too, so make it when you want, get takeout when you want. I'm getting into my awkward ramble stage, so I'm gonna end the video. I hope you guys have a great day and continue to have one, and I look forward to virtually seeing you again in the future. Bye.